Garfield County John Doe, 2004, also known as the Flat Tops John Doe. The Garfield County John Doe was discovered in White River National Forest, which is located in Garfield County in Colorado. He was 5'11" to 6'2", and estimated to be between 27 and 65, which would put his date of birth in the range of 1939 to 1977. He had with him quite a few items, and they may be helpful to help identify him at some point. He had a notebook with a note written to someone named Lib, although this is perhaps a nickname. Much of it is unreadable, but it includes the statements such as, "I should write in case my situation here doesn't improve. This may be the end of my journey. Would like for you to claim the body," and then something unreadable, then something about services or memorial, and the word cremation. There's something extra emotional for me about the idea that he apparently knew he was in trouble. He fully expected, it seems, his identity to be known, and he was planning what somebody he knew would do with his remains should he pass. But the notebook was pretty damaged, and not enough could be made out, if his name was on there at all. It doesn't appear he considered ever that he might become a John Doe. He had a green spiral notebook that had a hand-drawn depiction of a heart with figures inside, one of which appeared to be a cat. Some of the other words are, "Third choice, take them up in a glider, I promise not to get sick on you," which appears to be about scattering his remains. He also asked someone to call someone else. The sleeping bag he had said Perth, Australia on it, and this led them to think that perhaps he wasn't from the U.S. 2 elk bow hunters came upon his remains in September of 2004. He was skeletonized and inside his sleeping bag. His bag was located inside of a tent. It wasn't clear how long the campsite had been abandoned, but he had most likely passed away a full year before he was found, maybe even 2 to 5. His pants had almost completely rotted away, so it might be on the older end of it. In addition to being around 6 foot tall, he had extensive dental work that was clearly expensive. He'd had work done on almost all of his teeth, and he had a pack of Camel unfiltered cigarettes next to him. He'd been wearing Timberland hiking boots, and those were a size 9. He had some serious degeneration that was evident in his back and his neck that indicated he was probably in a lot of pain day to day. It isn't clear if he was camping or just homeless. He had placed duct tape on his socks to block holes, so he may have been living in the wilderness for a while. He had an empty bottle of Tylenol pain reliever, a JanSport backpack, razor blades, and earplugs. If he was homeless, he wasn't without money because he had with him 6 $100 bills and $30 in other denominations. The sleeping bag was a Slumberjack brand. He had with him a dome tent, a butane stove, 2 fuel cans, a water filtration kit, military-style canteens, and other camping equipment that you wouldn't find with a casual camper. He also had 2 National Geographic moisture-proof trail maps of the Flat Top Mountains, and he'd drawn a route across them. He was found within the route he had highlighted. He also had with him a 4-in-1 Radio Shack game and pocket-sized battleship. Among the other random items was sunglasses, reading glasses, a magnifying glass, and a pair of binoculars. The Flat Tops John Doe has gone unidentified for 17 years. Joy Neubauer, Boca Raton, Florida. Joy Neubauer was likely 20 to 30 when she made a choice to take her own life. She was found on November 27, 1996, and while she went by this name, it's unclear if it's her legal name. They tried to confirm it, but they were unable. She would likely have been born between the years 1961 and 1976. She was found on the 3800 block of North Ocean Boulevard at Spanish River Park by a local lifeguard. She was tall, around 5'10", and was likely white. She weighed around 175 pounds, and she hadn't been found for about 5 days. As a result, she was deemed unrecognizable. She had given her name to a police officer earlier. She told him her name was Joy Neubauer, and she gave a birth date of 7/12/1966, but she never provided proof that was her identity. The officer gave her information on the local shelters, and he offered to give her a ride to one, but she refused. That is the only person who recalled speaking with her, so it's possible she was from out of area. Joy Neubauer has gone unidentified for 25 years. Sarah. Sarah was the possible name of a woman who died by taking her life by jumping off the Arthur Lang Bridge on the North End in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. She didn't jump into the water, but rather onto the off-ramp. But the impact didn't kill her. She was taken to a hospital, but she didn't make it. Inside of her pocket was a page ripped from a photo book that listed local social service agencies, saying they were traced to Abbotsford, Port Coquitlam, and Whistler. One of the phone numbers had the name Buzz alongside of it, and he remembered meeting Sarah. He recalled meeting her, but he didn't know her name. An employee from the Queens Avenue United Church believes that Sarah had stopped by their soup kitchen around 3 weeks before. The police went from shelter to shelter, and they found more people who remembered her. One said Sarah had been kicked out of her home by an ex-boyfriend, and she tried selling her body to make money to get by, but that she couldn't do it. She said she didn't want to be a part of that life. It all seems to imply she was suffering and trying to get by, so perhaps she felt so beat down that she felt like she had no other options. It also highlights how important social service programs are, because once people get in a position where they feel beat down, no one should feel out of options. The fingernail on her right index finger was missing, and she had no drugs or alcohol in her system. They also note that it doesn't appear she was a past drug user. She did have small, silver round eyeglasses. She had a scar on her upper left arm and one on the back of her right hand. Sarah has gone unidentified for 22 years. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. If you could help to get the channel noticed by the YouTube algorithm by liking and leaving a comment, even if you can just leave a thumbs up or some emoji, it counts as engagement. It would be so appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thanks, everyone. Take care of yourselves and each other.